bring destruction.
Well, things are certainly picking up in the world created by late fantasy great Robert Jordan, aren't they? We've got an imminent White Cloak invasion, Forsaken on the loose and battling each other, trying to collar the Dragon Reborn, the Dragon Reborn himself going insane, and then whatever it is that Moghedien's spit is going to accomplish. Episode 6 was a wild ride like so many episodes of this series are, but if you're confused what's coming next, don't worry, we got you. These are our predictions for Wheel of Time Season 3, Episode 7, Explored, and spoiler warning, because trust us, there's going to be a lot of those in this video. The Taint and lose Theron, how Rand's madness is getting stronger. The reason male channelers are pretty much abhorred universally in the third age of Wheel of Time is simple. They're all crazy bastards. Some of them are so crazy that they think that they're the Dragon Reborn and lead entire armies to take over the world so they can break it and remake it in their own creation. But once Rand declared himself as the true dragon, all that was put to rest. But it brought up another interesting question. How do you keep the prophesized savior of the world from going batshit crazy? Because it's not like Rand is immune to the taint of madness within the Sidene that turns every other male channeler insane. As he told Moraine in episode 6, it's not about giving in, it's about constantly choosing not to submit to it. We saw what happens when he even talks about wanting to let go of his control over the darkness because it takes everything to hold it back for him. But the thing is, he can't keep this up forever. We saw that at the end of the episode. Rand didn't care that he was basically cheating on Egwene. He wanted to hurt her emotionally and tell her that she chose to spend all her time learning her dreamwalking when she could have been with him. We've seen Rand give her his explicit permission to go do just that earlier in the season, so that's just one sign of him losing his grip. Another sign is what happens towards the end of the episode when the Forsaken Samael's ambush ends in the death of the Aiel girl Alcera. Earlier, in episode 7, Rand unwittingly dishonors her by touching her spear, which is a big no-no in Aiel culture, seeing as she's a spear maiden in training. He dishonors her G, so he is obligated to harvest her planted squash to fulfill his toe. Rand and Alcera had an innocent relationship, and seeing her die and him trying to bring her back to life as the Destroyer and the Creator laughing like a madman, let's just say it's a sign. Another sign is the fact that Samael specifically calls him Luz Theron when he attacks him. Luz Theron was the dragon of the Age of Legends, and Samael would know him because he's from that age. But in the books, there comes a point where Rand becomes aware of Luz Theron's existence because at the end of the day, he's Luz's reincarnation. Before his death, the dragon went mad because of the Dark One's influence, so when Rand starts hearing the previous incarnation's maddened voice, who's to say he won't start slipping just like him? The show has set up his relationship with Lanfear as being far more reciprocal than it was in the books. Yes, it looks like Rand will come to his senses when he realizes she's the one who's been trying to choke out Egwene in her dreams, but when he learns the truth, then what? Rage is the key to his power, but it is also the wet sand upon which his sanity rests. We'd expect Rand to go further down the unhinged path as the season draws to its conclusion because all the evidence points that way, and we'll get a taste of it next episode too. The Lord of the Two Rivers, Perrin Iabata's moment of destiny. Perrin's arc throughout Season 3 has been his unwillingness to be a leader when he clearly is so good at leadership. He's a fugitive wanted by the Children of the Light for killing one of their own, and for a time, it looked like he was about to reach an understanding with one of their more moderate captains. That all evaporated when Perrin's friends, Mat's sisters, were exposed as channelers, and now the Two Rivers are in a river of trouble. Perrin's new love interest, Faile, and her Aiel escort find the White Cloaks arming up for an invasion. The Spearwoman notes that Perrin Goldeneye will have no choice but to go to war now. Season 3 has seen Perrin struggling with his leadership role, but now that he's hitting a princess, things are about to change. And also, can we just talk for a second about how many disguised princes and princesses there are in this series? We've got Faile, Elaine, Lan, and that's just from the main cast of characters. But speaking of being a natural leader, Perrin's involvement in the White Cloak incident is inevitable, because for better or worse, his people look to him as their leader. So Perrin will embrace that role and become a leader in name as well. Lord Perrin Goldeneye has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? And hell, that might just happen next episode considering the pace at which this series is unfolding. Talking about pace, the Panarch's Palace. Get ready for relics from the First Age. One of the major plotlines of episode 7 was the hunt for the bracelets and the collar of the Statue of Man from Tanchico. It's an ancient relic that is said to be powerful enough to bind the dragon reborn to the will of whoever wears the bracelets. Liandrin hopes to find these relics so she can become a Forsaken member herself, and she kills Naomi in the last third of the episode, having figured out she's the rat in her organization. Liandrin's next goal will be to hit up the Panarch's palace, which is where the collar is said to be stored, and that's going to be a visual spectacle to say the least. The Panarch's palace is like the nowhere of Wheel of Time. It has a massive collection of artifacts from across the ages, 2 of which are going to be of particular note. The first will be this skeleton of a giraffe, which will spook the people of this age, seeing as giraffes are extinct in this world. The second is the Mercedes-Benz logo, which might or might not make an appearance based on copyright issues, but these artifacts are important because there are only physical evidence that the Wheel of Time is, in fact, based on Earth. In the books, there are stories about Len and Salia's journey into space, references to astronauts John Glenn and Sally Ride, as confirmed by Jordan himself. It's one of the rarest pieces of information about what the First Age might have looked like, and explains why there's no hint of technology in the world of Wheel of Time, especially since it seems like there was advanced tech available in the Age of Legends. What is Moghedien's plan? Her disgusting vomit power explained. One of the creepiest scene stealers of Season 3 has to be Moghedien. The creepy Dreamwalker is just so goddamn eerie. Every scene we see her in evokes this sense of primal fear and filth, and seeing her spit in the food of the Black Aja whom she's serving as a disguised maid is just beyond mortifying. That scene, where Moghedien hollows out the cake, eats it, and then spits back some of it only to cover it up and smile like a naughty kid, will live in our minds rent-free, and we don't say that in a good way. But the question is, why is Moghedien doing all this? The answer might lie in an ability that the show has given her that wasn't explained in the books. In Season 3, we see Moghedien create a gray man by torturing someone and forcing them to accept being turned into a murder zombie. She cuts the man repeatedly and appears to mingle her bodily fluids with his in order to turn him into the gray man, after he accepts, of course. Moghedien might just be preparing assassins she can convert at a later date, because we all know that her true strength lies in manipulating the mind. Nynaeve and Elaine are some of the strongest channelers in the White Tower, despite only being accepted, and yet she very easily compels them to tell her everything about their purpose in Tanchico. She even makes them give up the second bracelet to her, and her compelling power is so strong, it almost feels like Nynaeve and Elaine are in love with her. But we see her use channeling to do that, so it's clearly not related to the process of making a gray man. Yet she does leave Nynaeve with a scar on her face. It's possible that this is a precursor to her trying to turn Nynaeve into a gray woman, because after all, she is the one standing next to a target that Moghedien has failed to kill twice now, the daughter heir of Andor. What better way to catch Elaine truly off guard than to turn her closest companion into a gray woman? And there is a hint that Nynaeve might be open to such a transformation. She's mentioned that she sealed off her access to the One Power because she's afraid of her own potential. Nynaeve knows she's strong, but she doesn't want to know how strong, so she has subconsciously stilled herself. Stilling is a huge deal in this universe. It refers to the severing of one's connection to their Saidar, which is often used as a punishment by the Aes Sedai to put rogue sisters in their place. This is why Nynaeve faces so much discrimination in the White Tower, because many think she will never become a full-blown sister. If that is true, then Moghedien marking her is cause for alarm, because all 3 parties seem to be converging on the Panarch's palace. The Panarch, by the way, is the female ruler of Tanchico, and it's fitting that 3 groups of women are about to come steal from her. Liandrin will bring her Black Aja hearts, Moghedien will be operating solo, and Elaine and Nynaeve will go in with their friends most likely. They're already panicking because they know they've lost the second bracelet, and all they can remember is that a woman came knocking on their door. They've put it down to alcohol for the time being, but these girls are smarter than that. They will eventually figure out that they've been put under a memory spell, and it's very likely that that will happen when they encounter Moghedien once more inside the Panarch's palace. This should be happening next episode because Liandrin is running out of time. She says she wants to become a Forsaken, but she also needs to resurrect her son, which can only happen once she reaches the jail cell in which he was born. That is presumably within the Panarch's palace as well, so, prepare for a bit of a tearjerker. Having said that, our final prediction for the next episode is something that actually doesn't happen until much later in the books, but might just happen earlier in the show. Nynaeve's reawakening is on the horizon. So it's no secret that the TV show has taken the liberty of moving quite a few things around to make the events of the books make sense because, there are 14 books in the series, each as large as a George Martin novel. So there are bound to be changes to the narrative, and that is why there are moments when Wheel of Time can feel disorienting, like too many things are happening too quickly. One of those things might just end up being Nynaeve regaining her powers, because in the books, that happens after Rand goes to Tyr. He's nowhere nowhere near going to Tyr right now, and heck, that might just coincide with Nynaeve's reawakening. The reason we're sure it's coming sooner rather than later is because episode 6 laid the basis for it. When Moghedien ordered Nynaeve to give her the second bracelet, Nynaeve's unconscious mind resisted long enough to scare her and make her acknowledge the accepted strength. That's why she marks her, because Moghedien is, in truth, a coward. She likes to get the jump on those she knows are definitely stronger than her, and she and Nynaeve have intertwining fates. It's while fighting Moghedien that Nynaeve regains her channeling powers, and she's going to need them soon if she wants to avoid turning gray. Season 3 is roughly covering the events of the 4th and 5th book in the series, but you'll notice that several events are out of order. Chiefly, Rand goes to the Aiel Waste before going to Tyr, where he needs Nynaeve to back him up. So it makes sense for her to regain her channeling when Rand is in Tyr, hence our argument that she might just get over the block in the next episode. We've seen Moghedien command the dream world just as well as, if not better than Lanfear herself, but in the books, it's in the dream world that Nynaeve gets one over her. It's possible that we'll see something similar in the series, just moved up to fit Amazon's timetable, and considering she's about to enter the enemy's den next episode, with Elaine still reeling from the compelling as well, it's the perfect recipe for a rage breaking of the seal. Marvelous verdict! We hope you guys enjoyed our predictions for the next episode of Wheel of Time, because that's all we've got for today. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Wheel of Time content. We'll see you guys in the next one, so until then, take care and don't do anything that messes with the pattern too much, alright? Please?